Commander Zexthal watched through the reinforced observation window as the human female stepped into Chamber 7. His four eyes blinked in rapid succession, a krill expression of disbelief. "She requests how much gravitational force?" he asked his assistant. 5 times Earth standard, Commander. That's 4.9 Gs. Zexthal's mandibles clicked nervously. Chamber 7 was known throughout the Galactic Coalition as the Grave of Warriors. It had been designed as an execution method for the most dangerous criminals, a place where gravity crushed bone and liquefied organs. Even the mighty Torgash war champions, whose species evolved on a 2.1 G world, could barely survive 10 minutes at 3 Gs before their enhanced musculature tore itself apart. And this human, this Lieutenant Sarah Chen, wanted 5. "She'll die within seconds," Zexthal muttered. "Inform her that we cannot authorize—" "She's already inside, sir." And she signed all the liability waivers. Through the window, Sarah stood in the center of the white chamber, wearing nothing but a simple gray tank top and shorts. Her brown hair was tied back in a functional knot. She looked up at the observation deck and gave a thumbs-up gesture. Zexthal had studied human culture extensively. He knew what that meant. Gravitational field activating in 3, 2, 1. The chamber hummed with power. Sarah's knees buckled immediately and she crashed to the floor with an impact that made Zexthal wince. 5 times her planet's gravity meant she now weighed approximately 350 kilograms. No support exoskeleton, no anti-grav compensators, just flesh and bone against physics itself. "Medical team on standby," Zexthal ordered. "The moment her vitals fail—" "Sir, she's moving." It was true. Sarah had pressed her palms flat against the floor. Her arms trembled violently, tendons standing out like cables under her skin. With agonizing slowness, she pushed. Her elbows straightened by millimeters. Sweat poured from her forehead, spattering on the white floor below. She completed 1 push-up. Then she collapsed, chest heaving, and lay there for 30 seconds. The medical monitor showed her heart rate at 180 beats per minute, dangerously elevated but not critical. Her oxygen levels were dropping but stable. "She's going to try again," the assistant whispered. Sarah planted her hands once more. This time the push-up took 45 seconds. Her face had turned crimson, veins visible at her temples. But she completed it. Then another, and another.
"How long has she been in there?"
Zexthal asked. 12 minutes, Commander. 12 minutes. The Torgash champion had lasted 10 at 3 Gs and had spent 3 months recovering. This human had already surpassed that at 5 Gs and was attempting exercise. Over the following hour, Sarah managed 23 push-ups. Between each attempt, she lay on the chamber floor, breathing deeply, visibly gathering her strength. Sometimes she would simply raise one arm, then the other, as if testing whether her limbs still functioned. Once she rolled onto her back and stared at the ceiling, and Zexthal was certain she had given up. Then she flipped back over and did another push-up. When the session finally ended and the gravity returned to normal, Sarah stood, wobbled slightly, and walked out under her own power. Her legs shook with each step, but she refused the offered medical stretcher. "Same time tomorrow?" she asked Zexthal, her voice hoarse but steady. "You cannot be serious, Lieutenant." "Dead serious, Commander." She smiled, though her face was still flushed and slick with sweat. "On Earth we have a saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I'm just testing the upper limits of that theory." The next day, Sarah completed 31 push-ups. The day after, 47. By the end of the first week, she could stand under 5 Gs for a full minute without collapsing. By week 2, she was attempting squats. Word spread through the station. Warriors from a dozen species came to observe the human who trained in the death chamber. The Torgash champion, Krugor the Unbreakable, arrived on the 10th day. He watched in silence as Sarah executed a set of lunges that would have shattered his reinforced leg bones. "Impossible," he growled. "Her world is light. How does she possess such strength?" Zexthal had been researching. "Human evolution is peculiar. They are persistence hunters, Krugor. On their world, they would chase prey for hours, sometimes days, until the animal collapsed from exhaustion. They evolved not for raw strength but for impossible endurance, for refusing to quit. But this chamber would kill her. Yes, and yet she returns every day. She falls and she rises. She suffers and she continues. I have studied 47 species in the Coalition, and I have never seen anything like it. By week 4, Sarah could jog in 5 Gs. By week 8, she requested they increase it to 6. On the day before her deployment to the contested border zones, Sarah completed her final session. She spent 2 full hours in Chamber 7 at 5.5 Gs, executing a full combat training routine. Punches, kicks, rolls, sprints, movements that would have been impossible for any other species at even 3 Gs. When she emerged, Krugor himself was waiting. The massive warrior, who stood nearly 3 meters tall and massed 400 kilograms, approached the small human with something like reverence. "You have earned the right to fight beside the Torgash," he said, performing the traditional salute of his people. Never have I witnessed such warrior spirit. Sarah, barely reaching his chest, returned the salute. "Where I'm going, I'll need every advantage I can get. The enemy fights at 1.8 Gs on their homeworld. After this," she nodded toward Chamber 7, "their gravity will feel like flying." Zexthal understood then. While other species saw the grave of warriors as punishment, humans saw it as opportunity. Where others found limits, humans found challenges to overcome. They didn't just survive hostile conditions, they weaponized them, turned them into strengths. As Sarah departed for the combat zone, Zexthal made a note in his personal log. "Today I witnessed why humans are perhaps the most dangerous species in the coalition. Not because they are the strongest or the fastest or the smartest, but because when they encounter something that should destroy them, their first instinct is to ask, 'How can I use this to become better?'" Chamber 7 would never be called the Grave of Warriors again. Among the station's inhabitants, it had earned a new name. They called it Sarah's Gym.